Hello fellow Savannah searchers. Here we are on the north end of Camp Nelson. This blue dot is, this blue dot up here, this is where we actually are. We're going to be going down into this area right here, and I'll explain things as we go. I know on the thing people mentioned many times about these buildings here from the reserve. They are owned by Wild Turkey, but I think it's Jim Beam uses them. That is an abandoned area with an abandoned lot, and people cannot get in there. Tony Robinson and I went by there yesterday. It has a fence up that has not been broken down, and it has a locked gate. People cannot get in there. So just a reminder, if I was gonna hide a dead body, I would go someplace that I knew did not have a locked fence or gate, or if I had to get in there, I couldn't be seen with the, oh, that was important. Let me back up just a second. See if you can see this here. Here we go. This is the Camp Nelson Honor Guard headquarters, and the war has been mentioned a lot. We are in the Camp Nelson area, so behind us we will find the Camp Nelson Memorial. We will also find the Camp Nelson Cemetery, and the area where they do reenactments, Civil War reenactments every year. It's also done in that area. Also here in that yard is a trampoline. I know that that was mentioned, but there's also one down here closer to where I tend to think Savannah could be, or has been. There's a couple of areas here. Here's the horse. There is actually two. So we'll continue on down the road. I've been down this road many times on this end. I have done photography shoots down here countless times on this bridge and in the area that we're going to go to. Today we are just scouting. Tomorrow I will be coming down here and doing a full search, and today we're on time constraints because once again my daughter had to use my van. But tomorrow we're going to come down here bright and early and get this done, so we know. Right here, what you will see, this is Wolf Run Sanctuary. Wolves are brought here to, there's one right there. I don't know if you can see, but they're brought here when they're hurt and are injured. And hold on just a minute, and up here you can see a white deer. But they bring all kinds of animals in here. I think that was not a deer, I think it was actually a llama, but it's in the deer pen. It might be, it could be an albino, I don't know. I've got April with me, so I've got to back up here and take this picture for her of this wolf. Here's the white one. We'll get it. But that could be the pause by. Pause by. You got all of the paws up here of all these creatures, and there's a camper there. That's not what I was thinking of, but I just happened to see it, and I know that that was mentioned. Here is an old abandoned church, and in behind it is a cemetery, but there's also a cemetery at Camp Nelson further back. So coming on up this road. Terry Robinson and I came down here yesterday, and we did a lot of on-foot searching, and we found some interesting things. With the search tomorrow, I'll go in more detail and show you what we found, and we're going to look at a couple of areas and see if we find anything else that Tony and I didn't find yesterday. There was also mentioned a tunnel. We will be going through the tunnel here shortly. We go around this curve here. It opens up to a tunnel. Well, a little further up the road than I thought it was, but we're almost to the tunnel. You can see the new bridge down there if it's zoomed in, or if you've got good eyes. I can see real good in distance, but not close up. So that's the curve right there that takes us into the tunnel. It's not a real long tunnel, but it's long enough. I mean, it's one that people will remember. I've set up lights and shot in there as well because people think it's cool. Here it is. We'll slow down here a little bit. I think you will notice tomorrow, more so than today, that some of this graffiti is going to be important. We've got a car behind us here. I'm going to pull over and let it go by me. Here we have, in this yard, we have a trampoline. We have a trampoline and a chicken coop and a gray tool shed right there. But it also, it has trailers parked here from time to time. There's one parked there now, a pull behind trailer. They park them here a lot. It looks like somebody's come down here where we're going to be. So this area is very important. We will be doing this area on foot tomorrow, just so that I can show you what Terry and I found. Here's some guys walking with a purpose. To where, I don't know. Apparently he's going up the cliff. Well, here is the bridge, and from this side, this is the north side of the bridge. You'll notice here you can actually go out on the bridge, which is new because the last time I was down here before Terry and I came down, there was a guardrail there over the summer that you had to climb over to get there. Another thing of importance, here is a big mound of dirt you have to climb over to get to the other side. Now, remember on the other side I was showing you the wall with the funny face that was painted on it? When you go to the end of this, it dead ends there at that stone wall. On two different sides, there's places that look like drag marks, and if you look over, there's just rocks at the bottom. I do believe in more than one psychic reading it said pull me up from the rocks. It is a possibility that she could have been tossed over up here and been on the rocks. Down this path on the left is a Red Bull can, and over here we have some more things. I know the babies and blood was mentioned. Here's the Jessie, or the Jessa. Over off to the side, which I'll have to move the car for you to see, that is Gary, which was also on there. I'll show you that today in this video so that you know. But right here is Gary. Here's the rest of this area here, so I don't want it to get too dark where you can't see it. But we're going to go a little ways down here, because down this road, and I'm not saying they're guilty, I don't know yet. We don't have all the information that law enforcement has, but we last know her to be with David Sparks. David Sparks told law enforcement that she left on foot on her own. That is not out of the realm of possibility, but all of us girls know that if we were wearing shoes like that, we would not go out walking on our own. But we could have borrowed somebody's shoes, just like I was talking about in the last video. And we'll have to see what we find. But down this road, the Sparks grew up. So all of the places that we'll be talking about over the next few days and few videos from this area, the Sparks have known about for years. This Fort Bramlett here, this goes down to a house I lived in years ago when my kids were young. They're grown with kids now, so that's how long it's been since I've been in this neck of the woods. If I'm not mistaken, this house we're coming up onto now is the house that the Sparkses grew up in. It's a little further down. It's down here on the right. But as you can see, they're not far from the area that I've been actively searching. That matches up with a lot of what more than one psychic had to say. So right here, I believe this is the area that they grew up in. I don't think there's another house on this side down here. I could be wrong, but their house was on the right-hand side from what I've been told. We'll go down here and turn around and come back, and we'll see how much time we have that I could fill you in on a few more things that we found out yesterday. Oh, that's cool. See, we will turn around here because I don't see no place else to turn around. And that house is also on the left-hand side, so I am pretty sure the house that we passed down there is the house that they grew up in, the land that they owned. So we'll see it from this direction as well. Is that place. I know it really don't have any bearings on this current situation. They do not live here now. I don't know if any of their family live here, but this is where the Sparks boys grew up, so they would know this area very well. Once again, we're going off the assumption of what we know to date to be facts, and the fact that we know to date is she was last seen with David Sparks. She could have left with someone else. To the best of my knowledge, there is no phone record of her calling someone to come and get her, even though David said she was on the phone talking to someone about picking her up. So that's kind of where we stand with this. This area I do associate with the Sparks. because they did know this area, but I am going on the words from multiple psychics, and that's all we have at this point, because all that the police have given us basically is that she was with David last. Her phone stopped forever by 8:30 that morning, and she has not been seen or heard from since. And David said she left out walking on her own, but no one saw her. So that's the facts that we have at this point. It's not to say something won't be uncovered later, or that law enforcement has facts that we don't know about. All of that stuff can come into play, so we have to be very careful about what we do. I do not harass David Sparks or any of the Sparks family. I'm keeping notes and records and mapping, trying to find a missing girl whom I believe is passed away. This area over here is important, and I can't really deal with all of it today because it would take up too much time. My daughter has cut a big chunk out of our day. Tomorrow we will see this area. I'll talk to you later about this gate right here. We'll discuss that, and this area in behind it, we will discuss that. I will also show it to you in the video tomorrow. We'll go over it more in depth, and you can draw your own conclusion. You can give me your thoughts of what I found and Terry Robinson had found. We were both here together yesterday. I think we've both been mapping this area at different times, and we just happened to discuss it in Messenger and decided that we would come down here together, which we did yesterday. I think we learned a lot. We're not quite there yet because obviously we did not find her, but I think we're on the right path. So this is it for the March the 7th videos. Thank you for listening.